Let me tell you something, I never expected to become the poster child for fighting off an HOA land grab. But life's full of little surprises, isn't it? One day you're sipping black coffee on your own porch, and the next you're staring down a demolition order stamped in blood red ink, all because some HOA big shot with a taste for forged maps decided your hard-won patch of Colorado dirt would look real good in their latest subdivision brochure. Yeah, that happened. And let me tell you, they picked the wrong stubborn old land agent to bully. I built this place myself. My hands set every stone in the foundation, every joist, every single screw. 15 years with the Bureau of Land Management taught me that land doesn't lie, and neither do survey markers as long as you watch who's holding the hammer. When I bought my little 1.6-acre slice up here in the Red Rock Hills, I did it by the book. Surveyed, deeded, signed, sealed, and for years nobody bothered me. The nearest tract homes were half a mile away, and honestly, I liked it that way. Solitude sunrise and the quiet sort of pride that comes from doing things right. So picture this Monday morning, I'm standing in my kitchen, just about to pour that second cup, when I see two people in bright vests and HOA polos marching up my gravel drive like they're about to hand me a medal. Nope. Clipboard guy and his sidekick hand me a fat envelope. Notice of demolition, 10 days to comply. You ever get news so crazy your brain just goes quiet? That was me. They said, with all the smugness they could muster, my property now fell within the freshly redrawn Pine Grove Estates HOA boundaries. Violation of architectural guidelines must be removed. I laughed, bitter sharp. This house was here before your HOA was even a twinkle in a developer's eye. Didn't matter to them. You can appeal, they said, but the clock was ticking. You know that cold feeling in your gut when you realize somebody's pulling a fast one? That's what hit me when I saw their so-called map stamped official, but showing my lot swallowed whole by Pine Grove's hungry new border. I knew every inch of my land, and this was a lie. So I pulled out my real maps, original survey, the deed, the county zoning overlays, all clear. My land was mine and outside the HOA, but this fake map had a county stamp. Somebody inside had signed off on it. I didn't waste a second. Threw my files in a case locked up, drove straight to the county office. Gwen, the woman behind the counter, been there forever, remembered me. Jeremy still holding down Ridgepoint. She pulled the latest map and the original, set them side by side, and there it was in black and white. The new boundary snaked right over my hill. Just corrected onto HOA land by a guy named Freddie Craig. I knew that name, ex-BLM now, a consultant for greedy developers who don't like waiting on honest process. Gwen leaned in, whispering, "This was rushed through. No public notice." She wouldn't say who approved it, but pointed me to a man named Jason Epps, who had a reputation for bending rules like pretzels. I thanked her, made copies, and got out. 10 days. That's what the letter said, 10 days to undo years of sweat and stone. So the next morning, running on caffeine and pure stubbornness, I printed every permit, every zoning verification, every topographic overlay, lined them up in a binder, highlighted every fake boundary. Then I marched straight into the development office. No appointment, just a binder full of facts and a chip on my shoulder. Jason Epps tried to stonewall. There was a correction, he said. I cut him off. Not a correction, a redraft. I showed him how their fake map didn't even match the actual terrain. The new boundaries floated over air where my ridge really stood. And Freddie Craig, I called him out right to Jason's face. He's a developer's pet, kicked out of 2 counties for boundary manipulation. I told him point blank I was filing complaints with the state surveyor, the DA, and the press. If he tried to shred evidence, he'd be sitting next to Freddie on a witness stand. That got his attention. He went pale. I walked out. Back home, I set up trail cameras, 2 by the base, 1 at the road, 1 on the main entrance. Cloud storage hard drive in the barn. If they wanted a fight, I'd make sure every inch was caught on camera. That night, digging through records, I found the real twist. Freddie Craig had filed similar corrections for other HOAs, always right before big development pushes. And each time he'd quietly donate to local commissioners who oversaw zoning. It stunk. So I called my old friend Danny Salazar, regional reporter, sharper than any lawyer I've met. She called back in 20 minutes. "Jeremy, you've got a live one." Next day, she was at my place with a drone, 2 cameras, and a producer with a face like he'd seen it all. We filmed everything, the real markers, the fake maps, me standing by the old oak tree where my survey stake was carved right into the bark. "This is bulletproof," Danny said. "They can't hide from this." That afternoon, I wrote up a cease and desist and walked it right into the HOA office. The receptionist smiled like she'd swallowed a lemon when I said, "Tell your president any more trespass and I'll see her in court." Back home, my cameras caught 3 men in reflective vests standing at the edge of my ridge, one with a rangefinder, another with a walkie, all wearing HOA logos. They pointed, muttered, and vanished after 10 minutes. I sent the footage to Danny. "They're sniffing around already." Not 6 hours later, a bulldozer rolled up the ridge, followed by a truck with an excavator. 4 guys in hard hats arguing over a tablet. I grabbed my binder, took the long way down, and shouted, "Stop right there." They claimed they had permission to start demolition. I flashed the restraining order I'd gotten that morning from a county judge who'd seen this game before. "Set 1 foot on my land. I'll have you in court before sundown." That did it. They backed off, idled by the fence engines, humming like wolves waiting for night. That night, I wired up extra lights. I wasn't sleeping, just waiting for their next move. By Thursday, the trucks were still there, silent and threatening. I decided to fight back. Found the old contractor diagram showing a temporary HOA water line skirting my southern fence. Years ago, I'd let some guys run a bypass just for the summer, they said, and I shrugged, didn't sign a thing. But now I checked, and sure enough, the HOA was still using it. So I drafted a legal notice terminate access in 72 hours, unless all hostile action stops. Hand-delivered it to the HOA again. This time, they called me. "You're threatening our utilities," said the HOA president, Mallory Phelps. "Not a threat, a notice," I told her. "You want your water, you drop the scam. You've got 71 hours. Here's where it gets cinematic. My neighbor Jason Bremer never talked much, showed up nervous. "Look, my sister's an HOA admin. They're planning something big, maybe private security, maybe worse. Mallory's gone off the rails, called you a squatter, said you'd be an example." I thanked him, then sent my own drone over during their next meeting, shotgun mic, recording everything. I caught Mallory on tape ranting, "If we lose this fight, others will start resisting. The house has to go even if we have to bulldoze it in the middle of the night." Gold. I handed it to the county clerk, filed an emergency complaint, sent it to Danny and 2 other reporters. The news ran with it. HOA threatens to bulldoze veteran's house. He fights back with receipts. The view count soared. The HOA sent a law firm after me, cease and desist accusations, the works. I forwarded it to my new lawyer, Grant Ellison, an ex-JAG bulldog. He laughed. "That's admission, Jeremy. They just made our trespass case open and shut." Soon enough, Channel 12 rolled up with a Jeep, filmed overlays showing real and fake boundaries, and the next day the story hit regional newsland battle in Pine Grove as this man being targeted by a rogue HOA state auditor showed up at Pine Grove's office. I watched through binoculars as they hauled out boxes of files. Later that day, Grant called state prosecutors' offices opening an inquiry. "All HOA activity is frozen. You just killed their expansion dead." I celebrated by planting a sign where their water line used to run private property, not affiliated with any HOA. Maps subject to public review. Felt good, but I still needed the original forged submission. That's when I got the anonymous email. No subject, just a link. "She made us redraw the lines. Thought you'd want to see the drafts." And there they were, 4 PDFs, each map, tweaked my land getting boxed in piece by piece. The signature block was a pixel-perfect copy-paste. Forgery plain as day. Grant took it from there. By Wednesday, it was on national news. Board members resigned. The HOA president was arrested, charges of fraud, forgery, conspiracy, abuse of authority. The judge didn't just toss their claim, he dissolved the entire HOA, ordered a land trustee to fix every deed. Mallory took a plea house arrest, fines, a lifetime ban from any board in Colorado. I filed for damages and won. Enough to pay for legal fees, reinforce my boundary markers, and install a sign that lights up and says, "Wrong parcel. Try again if anybody gets close." These days, I still live on the ridge. Sometimes hikers stop, ask questions. I give them lemonade, tell the short version how the world isn't run by monsters, just people who think they'll never get caught. You never know who's going to be the one to push back. So what do you think? Should HOAs have that much power? Ever had to fight for what's yours? Drop your story in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. And let's talk about where the line should be between community and control. I'm all ears, and I promise the lemonade's real cold up here.